Fred, it's one of those days, you know. Yes, we were meant to be here 1 hour ago. And apart from being pulled over by the police, and a lot of other things, no sound check, straight on stage after this. Well. Well, you all sitting comfortably. Drinks. In 1979, we formed Killing Joke with specific intentions. The musicians were attracted by an advert which read, "Want to be part of the Killing Joke. Total publicity, total anonymity, total exploitation." Our objectives were to define the exquisite beauty of the atomic age in terms of style, sound, thought, and form. The musicians were there to serve the sound, not their egos. Thus, personalities and lineup changes became insignificant in comparison with the entity we had created, Killing Joke.
Unimportant!
What some people conceived as a band, we perceived as a generator, pumping out cruel images of a spectacular new world to a transfixed audience. There would be no applause, only dispersal and effect. We fashioned our pipes of pan from shiny steel and played different tunes. Bizarre rhythms, laced with fiery choirs of noise, began to echo around the world in an age of anxiety. While other bands chose the premature ejaculation of instant stardom, we chose continuity. While other bands chose material status symbols as an ultimate goal, Killing Joke chose musical and individual freedom. These idealistic traditions still prevail 10 years later, and this to us is success. We are continually engaged in illuminating perspectives. For example, it occurred to me early last year that our fan club contained members who were architects, astute thinkers, and artists of every caliber, and from various walks of life. So, we formed ODIC to replace the insulting and patronising form of a fan club, with the intention of providing a network of gifted individuals who share a common vision. A network of individuals who manifest such vision into their lives and work, who are known by their work and not their egos. One that can alter the course of destiny by changing one's perspective. What was once a fan club of a rock band is now a movement of nuclear art, music, thought and philosophy. We invite you to participate in discourse, dialogue and correspondence. The 90s are almost upon us. I know there will be upheaval in every mode of existence. And in saying this, I will confide in you that there are influences at work. They are here now. They have provided this chance encounter, these facilities, this moment in time, and most of all, you. I have always known that as the insanity of the world escalates, Killing Joke shall be on the ascendancy. Yes, there are forces at work.
I joined Public Image Limited in 1979
just in time to add Bad Baby to the metal box. It seemed that we were weaving the invisible cloth of the Emperor's new clothes, and the press and the music industry were wearing it. No rehearsals, no mention of music, just doing it, fucking with the basic controlling games the industry likes to play. We moved to New York City, back to London, then to Los Angeles, where ego, sycophancy and drugs combined to twist and crumble our solid foundation. And John Lydon became once again Johnny Rotten. Record company pressures mounted to turn out another hit back into the machine, where it doesn't matter if you're making records, Tupperware or shoes, because there's no business like shoe business. In 1984 I looked in the mirror and realized that we had become the fools in the transparent suits, and I had to leave. Now, with Killing Joke, there are forces at work. From inside my head, pushing my eyeballs out, and the corners of my mouth wider into a manic grin. There are forces at work, uprooting me, pulling me 3,000 miles across the ocean. Kinetic. Friction peels off layers of bloody skin from my blurred hands. Sticks slice through the toughest, bulletproof, not enough drumhead, or splinter on impact. Fact. The bass drum beater distorts, twists and bends. Cymbals, glass, shatter. Ex-drumsticks are now huge broomsticks, 3 inches thick, splashing, smashing tissue paper and licorice drums. The ends of my arms melt and flow onto the sticks. I eat the drums. The cymbals taste of lemons. I wash them down with a glass of water, as alcohol is the last thing this equation needs. There are forces at work. Get out of the fucking way.
Does anybody know the date today? What is the date today?
18th.
The 18th. The 18th of, what month is it? April. On the 18th of April. Could I have a pen? Has anybody got a pen? '18th of April. On the 18th of April, Jazz Coleman signed the Declarations of a Nuclear Artist. Declarations of a Nuclear Artist. Resentment, greed and hate are all aspects worthy of elevation to the heights of love, passion and altruistic idealism. We intend to glorify the beauty of the atomic explosion. Destruction is the artist's prerogative. We will glorify man's folly and its spectacular repercussions. We worship orgasm, ecstasy, adrenaline, energy and motion. All hail the innovators. All hail the outcast. Different drummers, emanating vibrations and rhythms of remote landscapes. The drums are sacred to us, sacred intoxication. The primeval pounding of the beat defies all reason, and we fall into the abyss and vanish into the space between each beat. Melody and harmony are only permissible in contrast to extreme dissonance. We will sing of the hybrid and the mutant as the prototypal new man. We will hymn the unfolding desolation of the future world in strident tones. We We will paint oral pictures of nightmare winter gardens in exquisite beauty. We shall salute the man who has destroyed reason, whose interpretation of existence is magical. We declare that man is not separate from divinity, for he is part of divinity. Man is God, amen. Until he sees himself as God, he will never tap his fullest potential. Our vision of ourselves cannot be allowed to be either reduced or dehumanized to the extent that we begin to view men and women as positive and negative plug sockets on the wall. We believe that man is by nature of himself a romanticist, a poet. He secretly glorifies his own existence. This is his birthright. Which man or woman here says, I have copulated, I have fertilized and reproduced, when they have been deeply moved in the raising of their own family? Which man or woman here? Who can say what is right and what is wrong in the eyes of nature? The black and white squares on the chessboard of our existence has merged into metallic grey, from which we have forged weapons to cut out the cancerous conditioning within. We will view all aspects of existence objectively, devoid of all moral and ethical judgments. Our vision is complete and whole. We possess multi-dimensional 360-degree vision. A golden age is splattered with crimson blood and fire. Earthquakes, atrocities, genocide and cataclysms are synonymous with great awakenings and humanitarian gestures. Existence is magical for all those with the eye to see. We despise the intellect. The intellect is ugly and static. So is analysis. The intellect is repulsed by the fact that his body shits, but still his body wants to shit. In analysis, there is ugliness, but in spontaneity, in action, we nourish the crops in the excrement of the people and harvest beauty. We do not question whether the sun will rise tomorrow morning. The dog does not question why it barks. To ask why is a curse. To know is everything. Motion is beauty. Action is beauty. We will sing of the honeycombed cities and the bizarre races of tomorrow. We applaud esoteric eroticism and nuclear art. We worship the oscillation of the erect phallus in the wet vagina and all the cravings of the unconscious mind. We seek union with ourselves and the rapid formation and fulfillment of everyone and everything. Everything is possible in the eyes of God. Everything is permissible in the eyes of God. God is terrible. God destroys poor, starving, third world countries pitilessly. Glory to God. God is the universe. The universe is dynamic. time? Any questions?
How do you define your personality?
How do I define my personality? Complex.
Yeah,
Any other questions?
Say, do not ask why or how for models that seem to work. And how would you explain a model, say, as some kind of a shorter bit of our experience of, say, synchronistic events in our lives, so that we don't ask why or how?
I believe
Come
that
to understand them in our experience and make them work for us.
I believe in what can only be described as a pre-literate psychology. I believe that man in his natural condition is not an intellect. He communicates on a completely different basis. I believe that we have lost our essential faculties, our psychic faculties, our powers. I believe we have fallen. And I believe it is man's destiny to regain his powers, his individual powers. How do I perceive it in the future? I believe that civilization or man will evolve to the extent that discussion, as we know it, is obsolete, that languages of different countries are dead, are gone, because man is moving in the same direction together. Civilization, I believe, eventually will begin to march in the future. The only way I can adequately describe it is a pre-literate psychology. I go to ancient places all over the globe, from Egypt, South America, and I go there to absorb the ambience of these places. I fast for 1 week, and I go into Tiwanaku, Machu Picchu in South America. I fast for a week, and then I go to these places and I absorb the ambience and I record my impressions. And these are the conclusions I've arrived at. Any other questions? Yes?
Do you feel like you're helping other people or helping yourself?
Do I feel like I'm helping other people? Well, I think that only the individual can help themselves at the end of the day. I believe that yes, we can make music on a stage, but it's up to the individual whether they want to open themselves to inspiration. At the end of the day, it's what you're looking for. It's only the individual that can help themselves. That's really what I believe. Any other questions?
What kind of powers do we need to regain? What kind of powers do we need to regain?
That you were a beatnik 20 years ago?
Not at all.
America went through?
20 years ago, I was playing with my Action Man. What was the question? Sorry for the gentleman.
We had some powers in the past that you allude to.
That's right.
What kind of powers do we need to regain? Why must we go back instead of...
Because I believe we only use 1/10 of our capacity, of our mental capacity, of our psychic capacity. I think that man is God, as I said before. God, to me, is an idea of potentiality.
But there are so many powers that we've had, that we've abused,
that we've lost. Man has lost everything because he's become alienated from nature. He's become separated from nature. When I say man, I say it, my dear, I say it in the general context, as in Homo sapiens, not in a sexual context. Well, okay, shall I say woman? It's just very complicated to say man and woman or something. Well, that's your prerogative. Now, any other questions? Yes. Yes, thank you very much. Well, I think your question is as simple as this: that we only have to look around this room and look at ourselves to realise that evolution is far from yet complete in terms of the humankind. I believe that we secure a place in the future because we have not evolved to our final state of being. So Congratulations. Fair enough. An artist. What are you trying to say, my
As we
dear?
move towards this higher plane of evolution, I'm sorry. Everybody, we're trying to remove the distinctions. One of the reasons we're here, one of the reasons we have a demo on FlexiDisc is like, listen to us, make mistakes, listen to our creative process. We're trying to move off of the stage.
I agree. I like that. I'm not taking it.
Any other questions? Before we finish our drinks and mosey on to a stage where we haven't done a sound check. Yes, over there.
Do you believe that progress as it is right now can still be achieved without man losing touch with his roots and contact with nature?
It's a very difficult question, this, because I was essentially brought up as a conservationist by my parents. They're not religious at all. They believe in ecology and conservationism. Yet at the same time, I can't deny the aspects such as thermonuclear power, Pluto, plutonium, Uranus, uranium. I think it's all part of the unfolding universe in my concept of existence. Therefore, I have a dilemma because while one side of me is a conservationist, the other side of me says, well, these changes, such as the dispersal of radiation into the atmosphere, are destiny. And I'm trying to, with both my arms and my heart, embrace the future as I know it will be. As I said before, I believe that we will mutate. Where am I going from here? To a concert, I believe.
Berkeley Square.
Somebody over here, 1 second, please.
Isn't this whole concept rooted in analyzation?
Yes, you point out something very interesting there. One has to use literature and the rationality to communicate to the rationalist, but essentially what I'm communicating is irrational.
That is very clear.
Any other questions? Yes, over there. That's for you to decide. Any other questions? Yes, over here.
I was wondering if you get your thoughts as to what do you feel the responsibilities of this grouping, of this gathering is?
What?
Collectively and individually.
Individually, I think we have an obligation to ourselves to open our eyes up to changes that are happening now. I mean, what is happening on an ecological scale, for example, to the planet. We have people like in England, Friends of the Earth. Does anybody know Friends of the Earth? They're like Greenpeace, right? Well, they're already saying that in the year 2015, London, because it is below sea level, will be submerged under water. So we're already talking about 15 million people homeless. So things are going to change in our lifetime and your sons and your daughters' lifetime. You're going to see those changes. Now, what is happening in Antarctica, I don't know whether any of you are well versed on it, is that Antarctica is going to be chopped up. That block of ice down south is going to be chopped up for minerals. It's an agreement between all the countries. That means that what is happening now in the ozone, the polar ice caps, everything is going to accelerate. We're now, I mean, I've been down Australia recently and New Zealand. Everybody's getting sun cancer really bad. You only have to stay in the sun for 1 hour, 2 hours, and you can get sun cancer. I've got dark skin, and I was so burned the first day I got there. It's changing now on an annual basis. And I believe what is happening now, it is an escalation of the process of deterioration to the ecosystem. So everything that we're talking about is going to happen a lot faster, probably than I'm going to say. I'm talking about a period of 5-6 years. We could see major changes on the planet. We have to go to do a concert.
Anybody that's interested in staying in touch with us, just write your addresses on any of the pieces of paper we've distributed and we'll stay in touch with you.
Here, I'm going to leave these flexi discs on here. These are all 8-track recordings of our mistakes and some of our ideas. If you want to grab one, get in there quick, alright? I'll wait till a few people up here to give you all a fair chance, alright? Thank you very much and goodbye.
and thank you for coming. Flexi discs don't work if you tear them in half, sorry.